tried so hard and got so far.
Okay guys, we're going to be talking about how easy and what your steps should be to if you're going to marry here in the Philippines. Very simple. Just know if you're planning to get married in the Philippines, you need at least 30 days to be here. If you don't have that kind of time, there are things that your wife can do here, getting things ready for your arrival. As in other words, she's already planning it. In my case, none of that was happening. I wasn't even supposed to be married yet. I was going to be married later in 2019. I was just going to be here on vacation last year in 2018, and something transpired. I ended up having to stay. So anyway, besides that, if you're coming from the U.S., the easiest thing to do is go to your consulate there, and they call it a lieu of affidavit. It's basically proving that you're not married there in the States. If you don't want to do all that, there's nothing close to you to come and do that. Just go to Manila, go to the embassy. Literally, it's fairly quick. It's going to cost you $50 to get that, and it's basically just a piece of paper with a notary and a signature, and you're going to take that to the registry. Now then, how do you want to avoid that time loss? Is schedule your flight, come into Manila, but then go online to the U.S. Embassy, and you can actually set it. You have to have an appointment regardless. So you can set your appointment online and schedule your flight, next day after your arrival. Hotels are cheap in Manila. Manila's not the best place, but it is what it is. I stayed there, I think 2 nights. It was like $28. You can find, and it was a nice hotel. It was clean, it was decent. The wife and I had a lot of fun just doing things in the area. It was close to the airport, but you can find a lot more expensive places, depending on your budget. So anyway, then in 2014, they actually also passed a law here that my wife didn't even know. In fact, a lot of her friends didn't know until we started to go and get things ready for our wedding day. And if I remember right, guys, and I apologize, you can Google this, but it's the PSA here. You have to go there. You both have to. And it's basically to prove that you're not married here in the Philippines. And it's an office that the locals come and do business, whether it's their birth certificate or just other things. It's a pretty long line, so get there early. You're going to spend a few hours there, depending on if you have a lucky day and get in and get out. That's going to cost you about 250 pesos. So, and if you don't understand the peso rate, it's basically minus the rate exchange. It's going to average between $52 to $53 or pesos per dollar. So, as in other words, 1,000 pesos is $20. So that's going to cost you about $250. You'll get that. You'll take that to, your next step is to take that to the civil registry, and that's where you're basically registering your proof that you're both legal to marry. To back up a minute though, you need to bring your original birth certificate. They're not going to keep it, they're just going to take copies of it. And the copies are cheap, so no worries on that. And they usually take 3 copies, and of course for everything that you do, you keep copies of that as well. Because we'll also get to your 13A, your permanent residency, to stay permanently here in the Philippines. So anyway, so then you'll go to your registry here in the Philippines with your wife. You fill out a form. I can't remember what that costs. It's not much, $50, not dollars, but maybe 100 pesos, something like that, 200 pesos. And then they also have a class that you got to take. and it's a Seminole, if I'm pronouncing it right, because they have two different terms for that. Excuse me. And that's $250. Now, depending on the timing of that, that could be scheduled weeks out. So you do have another option, and it's called an emergency something, and you basically end up paying that $250 plus another 500 pesos, which is still cheap. And they basically give you that right then and there. And when the wife and I did it, it was like 10 minutes, and it was basically talking about understanding the difference in the cultures, and then they say a prayer and you leave. And then the next thing is that you take that piece of paper or that paperwork, and you either go to your local church, or you can actually hire a pastor, a priest. And we did a private wedding with just the local friends, and so that's pretty much it. But you just need to know that you're going to go back and forth a little bit, and oh, you forgot this paper. She didn't have the right. Here in the Philippines, and the way it was explained to me was that they have apparently a lot of fraud in the sense of IDs. So the Filipinos here have to, in a lot of cases, show 3 types of IDs: passport, MBI, so that's how they prove who they are. So anyway, so there's that little bit of complication. So just be prepared for, oh, she forgot this, or you didn't have that, and then you go back the next day or later back that same day, and hope you get that same person again, because otherwise you start all over. So it's not as easy as it is in the States to get married. And I can tell you this as well, which is actually a great thing about it, marrying here in the Philippines, regardless, but in the Philippines for this case, is that you can't get a divorce. They don't call it a divorce, they call it an annulment. And that could take a lot of money and a lot of time. So just be prepared. Once you're married, that's it, which is a good thing, which we'll make a video about that as well. The Blue's not here today. I know a lot of guys were like, asking other videos, more videos with Blue in it, but yeah, she is gorgeous. But anyway, unlike the States, you don't just get up and go to the courthouse and file for a divorce. It just don't work that way here. Like I said, which is good, because it's best to work things out. I mean, that's always been my belief, and but I don't even worry about it, because which I'm sure a lot of y'all already heard or seen on the internet. The reason we expats marry here in the Philippines is because, not only because they're beautiful, but they're hospitable, they're humble, they're loyal, they're just amazing women. So anyway, that's pretty much the steps. And if I'm forgetting something, or you got questions, just comment below. Since I am here in the Philippines, it's easier for me to find an answer to your question. So feel free to do so. Like, comment, and next time, guys, yeah, Blue will be on. Cheers.